Good morning, and thank you all for joining me once again for another one of our weekly webinars. My name is Stephen Bolden. I am your host and ACT certified consultant and ACT e-marketing certified consultant to go over our three-part series on ACT e-marketing today. Today is going to be part one, which is going to be a very comprehensive and important overview of all of the ins and outs of e-marketing, trying to address all of the most common questions and even some of the lesser common questions that I have, the ins and outs of how to get started and why to use ACT e-marketing. The e-marketing platform that I am talking about is only available in versions ACT 16.3 and above. A little backstory on the multiple versions of ACT e-marketing. It was back in 2010 when ACT was still owned by Sage that they partnered along with a rather small email marketing company in Denver, Colorado called SwiftPage to build a plugin for ACT to send out email blasts through the Sage ACT database. And over time, this partnership grew. They developed the first version of ACT e-marketing, which they called SwiftPage Engage. Sometimes you'll see this abbreviated as SPEM or SwiftPage Connect. It went by a few names, maybe SwiftPage 1.0. In 2013, Sage sold the ACT platform to SwiftPage, as many of you are probably familiar with by now. The small marketing company probably grew 100 times in size that day. And they got to work on transforming ACT into an email marketing first kind of a database ever since. They did away in version 16 with the old SwiftPage Engage and rebuilt it in a new ACT e-marketing panel, which was it was at the time a third-party service that they bought and integrated, and ever since then have made a lot of modifications to it to make it into their own. You can find which version of ACT you're using by going to Help and About ACT. And if it tells you 16.3 or above, you're good. If not, you might need to plan an upgrade. So to get started with ACT e-marketing, you'll find it in your left-hand sidebar here. Down below Contacts and Groups and Calendars, you will find an ACT e-marketing button. But before we go into this, you need to make sure that you have permission to be able to get into here. For many of you, if you are a database administrator, then you're all set and you will have full permission. If you are not the ACT administrator, you may have to request these permissions from your ACT admin. They can go into Tools and Manage Users, and there is a way that you can find any ACT user, and there are permissions here for e-marketing administration. They'll be able to grant those to you if you are going to be the marketing person on your team and perhaps do not have access to this already. Once you have ACT e-marketing permissions, then the first time that you go and click on this ACT e-marketing tab, you'll probably be met with this logon screen where it will ask you for your email, account, and password for ACT e-marketing. If you've created an ACT e-marketing account in the past, maybe you have forgotten it, then you can recover your password here with the Forgot Password link. Many of you may not have an account already. Your ACT e-marketing account is different and independent than any account you may have created with ACT before. It was a kind of separate service, and so if you've never created one in the past, you will need to create one now. This is where a big hang-up happens for a lot of people because there is a different account creation process for just about every single version of ACT. I think they've finally settled on a newer process ever since version 18.2, but essentially what you'll want to do is click on this For help locating your login credentials, please click here. It's going to open a knowledge base article for you that says how you can recover your credentials based on your version of ACT. There is most likely you will want to follow this second link that says you can submit a request to have your account created. And there is a form where you can fill out, have your account created. If you do fill out this form, there is like a 1 to 2 day turnaround before they'll actually email you back with your credentials. So I do recommend jumping on this right away. When you're filling this out, there is a field for reseller ID. that is where you can put the ACT Certified Consultant ID of whoever referred you. I will love you if you go ahead and put 400-128-2812 into that box. That gives me credit for the referral and helps me out a lot. Maybe it's a good thank you for these webinars. But also, so if you don't have an account and you're unable to reset it by using the forgot email address link, then go ahead and follow that form to have your account created. Another way that you may have an account is that if you purchased ACT for the first time after version 18, then they may have emailed you automatically a username and password for your email marketing within your email as an email from SwiftPage. Way back when you got your ACT license, you might find it in there. If you can't find that email, go with the forgot password link. And if you have a version prior, you may actually see, if your version of ACT is between, I believe 16.3 and 18.1, you may actually see a sign-up link already greeting you when you go to log into ACT here. The first time that you open this panel may have a sign-up tab over here that's missing in later versions. You can sign up directly through there. Again, please use my reseller ID. Once you have your account signed up, I'm going to go ahead and sign in our account here. Going to load in and prepare for it to take a minute. And then we'll get into a little bit about what ACT Emarketing is and why you want to use it. This tab in particular, this Emarketing tab, the way that it works, every time you click on it, it's sending a request up to the Emarketing server to log into your account and pull down all of your data. And it always takes a delay. It's not your computer or anything. It's just this particular ACT tab. Same thing for if you click away from the tab and come back, you can expect there to be a delay. So don't be too concerned over that. Just wait it out. So I want to talk about ACT Emarketing and how your accounts work for when you're signing up for that account. It is best at this time to have just one Emarketing account per company. You can have the same Emarketing account signed in from multiple computers and multiple ACT users. There will be one email address. You'll see that I signed in as Jeff. And I'll get more to how that will still work for your situation as well. There is one kind of master account where all of the templates and all of your send limit is stored and all of your reports. Within the account, you can set up different sender profiles to choose who you are sending the template as. But not to get too far ahead of ourselves, I just want to make it clear that you really just create one master Emarketing account and everybody can log into that and share that same account for the same shared send limit. The reason being is that if you did sign up for separate accounts, for one, you might have a little bit of difficulty with it because I believe SwiftPage tries to restrict you to just one account per company. You might be able to slip a fast one past them. But if you do have two separate accounts, then everything is kind of separate between them. Like if one person creates a template and works really hard on it, the other person's not going to be able to send it because it's not within their own account. They would be completely isolated from each other. That being said, every ACT Emarketing account comes with the basic level of sending for free. The basic level of sending gives you 500 unique email addresses that you can send to per month. What we mean by unique email addresses is that for every contact that you send it to, their email address will deduct one from your quota for that month. However, you could repeat send to that contact multiple times and still only take one out of your quota total because you're only sending to one email address there, but maybe you're doing a few email blasts a couple of weeks apart. And if there's crossover between multiple groups that you're sending, you're only deducted or charged based on the number of unique contacts you send to. So even if your database may have 3,000 or 300,000 names in it, your send limit does not have to reflect that total number of contacts in your database. It only reflects how many you want to send to in a month. And You can also skirt around the issue by sending across multiple months. Your quota will reset on the first of every month. That being said, 500 is the free level that comes with every account. And if you want to raise above that, we'll get to the pricing later, but it starts at about $30 per month. Now they actually have an annual billing option that makes it $300 per year. $300 per year gives you 2,500 contacts per month. There's a team level of pricing that will double beyond that. And you can also expand the send limit all the way up to 52,000 per month, I believe is the current limit. And I do have some customers that are sending 52,000 emails per month with Act Emarketing. And we'll return to the pricing as well. So what are the benefits of using Act Emarketing, and what exactly is it? Act Emarketing in its simple form, most of you attending these sessions today have seen my e-marketing blasts that have my webinar information in them. You can build, and my blasts that I send out for these particular web series are rather simple, but you can get actually pretty complex with them. Your e-marketing emails can use all sorts of pretty HTML, and they have a template builder where you can add images, links, colors, logos, signatures, columns, and really send these messages out to your database. We're all rather familiar with Act Emarketing. It's on every level extremely comparable to a product like MailChimp or Constant Contact, or really about 1,000 others that exist out there. Except the big benefit of Act Emarketing is that it's already built directly into your Act database, and you already have a free version of it that's integrated. If you use any other third-party marketing service, and there are add-ons that you could use them if you prefer them better, paid add-ons, but if you use other e-marketing services, then you have to deal with exporting and importing lists to manage your lists across 2 separate accounts. You might have a little bit of difficulty bringing some of those results and reporting back into Act. Or if you have other salespeople entering a whole lot of new names throughout the month, you got to kind of have a reconciliation to make sure that all of the accounts are in sync. So Act Emarketing will let you send your message out to your own database, whether it's a product promotion, a event invite, a newsletter, you name it. The sky's the limit. The advantage to using it over just sending out a classic mail merge that I've done sessions on in the past, where you can just send bulk emails from your own Outlook, is that when you use a third-party email marketing service like Act Emarketing, your emails are being sent off of Act servers, SwiftPage servers out in Denver, Colorado. They will appear to the end recipient as though they are coming from you. The reply email address will be you. It's really completely transparent to the people receiving it that the origin was not your company's mail server, because it does appear as you. However, it's not you from a technical standpoint. The emails are being sent by SwiftPage, so if somebody wanted to mark you as spam, then SwiftPage's servers will take the hit. You never want to be sending hundreds or thousands of emails in large blasts from your own personal email address and server, because if some people mark you as spam, you do run the risk of getting blacklisted yourself, and that can be a real pain. That being said, email blasts that you send out from your own Outlook email generally do have a near 100% deliverability rate. You can be usually pretty guaranteed that they'll land in somebody's inbox. At least that is up until you get yourself blacklisted. And because with Act Emarketing, you are sharing that server with a lot of other people, a lot of time these emails go to spam. It's a harsh truth of the situation, but it still is worth it to not have to worry about getting your own domain into trouble. There's a lot of things that we can do in the world of deliverability to try to minimize the odds of your email landing in spam, and we will get to that. Quite a lot to get to, actually. Yes, so your emails are sent out from SwiftPage, and that's the main benefit of using the third-party marketing service. The other benefit is to make sure that you are compliant with all of the CAN spam laws. The CAN spam laws are a set of United States laws that basically state that you are allowed to send unsolicited email messages to anybody up until they explicitly opt out, once they send you an opt-out request, it does become illegal to continue to message them. Then there are some other exceptions about opt-in campaigns that you can run periodically. ACT eMarketing terms of service say that your contacts have to be explicitly opted in. There's no way to check, but yes, I'll go ahead and throw that one out there, that your contacts should have signed up for a newsletter at some point for you. They want to maintain the integrity of their service. Yeah. If you intend to send to somebody in Canada, really, I would just say don't. That's kind of my professional opinion. If you really have to send messages to people in Canada, you may, but their laws are much more restricted than the US. They always have been in regards to e-marketing, and they've boosted it up even higher about a year ago. You have to have like complete written consent. They are opt-in only rather than opt-out, like how the US operates. And now not only do they have to be opt-in, but you actually have to have like an auditable log about the, like when and how they opted in and what the circumstances were surrounding it. And if you even incidentally send to somebody that's in Canada, like, and you don't have that information on hand, you can actually get yourself into some trouble over it. It's really just not even worth sending to anybody in Canada anymore. So keep that in mind. The reason that ACT eMarketing is good for canned spam compliance is because at the footer and base of every email that they send out, there is an unsubscribe and opt-out link. It's mandatory. You can't remove this from your email blast, and that's a good thing. If somebody wants to unsubscribe from your emails, they are essentially just opting out from all future ACT eMarketing email blasts. You will still be able to send them direct emails on the side from your own mail server, because again, ACT eMarketing is not connected to your own mail server. So nothing will stop you from sending them a direct personal email. But if they do opt out of your ACT eMarketing account, then in the future and forevermore, even if you try to send them an eMarketing blast, if they're included in a group of yours that you send a blast to, ACT will scrape them out of there. It'll shut it down if you try to send to them, but it'll send to everybody else just fine. So it really kind of passively manages your opt-outs for you. And it's really good in that way. If somebody accidentally opts out, it's kind of a real pain to get them to opt back in. There's some rigmarole to go through. They can basically send an email directly to SwiftPage expressing consent to opt back in, and somebody can manually remove them off of the suppression list. Ooh, good mouthful. So let's see. So we've gone over why we want to use ACT eMarketing. I'll talk a little bit about the template creator, but I don't want to go into too many details of it because that will be the topic for next week's session as we really drill into how to create and send the email blast. In version 20, they've kind of integrated the template builder right here within the eMarketing panel. There's a Create tab on top, and it will have your templates within here that you can edit and work with. For those of you on previous versions of ACT, it will look a little bit different. You might see a panel with 6 different options displayed, and Create will kind of be a box within those 6 options with a hyperlink on it. If you press Create, what it will do is launch a web browser. It will automatically log you into your ACT eMarketing account, and you'll see the template builder within your preferred web browser. I generally build my templates within Google Chrome. It will work with any browser mostly, but I have run into some glitches and problems before, and Chrome is my preferred. But this kind of addresses that the ACT eMarketing account really does exist up in the cloud. It's more of like a website account, and the panel that we see in ACT is little more than just a built-in web browser that loads that information. You can log in from any computer, anywhere, if you go to this address, aem.spsend.com. I'll open an incognito window. If you go to aem.spsend, stands for actemarketing.swiftpagesend.com, You'll be greeted with a login screen. This is the same logins as we used to get in the first time when we created our account. And they'll be able to do just about everything in Act Emarketing in way of creating templates and working with reports, but everything except the send. You really only need to go into Act for the actual sending of your Act Emarketing blast. This does mean, though, that if you have an outbound marketing person or somebody that's even working on a Mac or working from home, that they can build and work on your templates from anywhere, from any browser. I kind of prefer to do everything within the browser when it comes to Act Emarketing. I still run into some problems with this embedded browser that they've built into V20. It's kind of easier to just open up and go to aem.spsend.com. The template builder, in brief, I have some of my templates here, and we will go over this much more detail next week. But if I edit a template, we have some options down the side here for editing text, duplicating, sending tests and preview emails. Come on, I'm taking a, there you go, it's loading. As I mouse over the template, we've got these different windows. We have options to change colors, borders, fonts, and images. It is all a visual kind of drag and drop builder. I can upload images off of my computer. I can create hyperlinks to different things. That's basically all that I'm going to show about this for now to save some time. And we'll exit out. After you've built your templates, you can go back into Act here and move over to the Send tab. Again, those of you on a previous version of Act Emarketing may see the Send tab is not along a top toolbar here, but it may be outlined in a 6-panel grid. You will certainly see it easily enough. The Send panel, you have 6 different options where you can send your email blast to the current contact. Maybe if you just wanted to do a one-off to test to yourself. There's an option for sending to a current lookup. I don't particularly like sending to a lookup because they may have a potential for error if your lookup changes somehow between moving over to the Emarketing window. That shouldn't happen, but stranger things have happened. You can try sending to all contacts. It's kind of a big no. That's really never a good excuse to do that unless maybe you had a really important announcement like an address change or selling your company or something, I suppose. Group. This is really the only one that I ever recommend. When you're going to send an email marketing blast, send it to a group. Click on this ellipsis icon over here. Here are all of the groups in your database. Those of you who attended my webinar last week know that having a good static or dynamic group that you've built is going to be essential. You select your group, use the single arrow to move it over, and press OK. A little tally over here will tell you how many contacts were in the campaign, what your sending limit quota looks like, and how you're stacking up there. Select who you want to send to, select your template category. I didn't cover these categories, but within the template editor, you can, instead of putting all of the templates you've made into one big basket that could get hard to scroll through if you ever got to a point where you had hundreds or thousands of them, you choose a category, you choose your template within that category. It will show you a preview over here. You have an opportunity to edit the template as well if you want. Steve asked a really good question. Can you pick multiple groups at once? Yes, sir, you can. If you have many groups, go ahead and, no, I completely lied to you. No, sir, you cannot. I am sorry. I really thought that was an option. No, you cannot have many groups. However, it is easy enough within the Act Groups Manager to kind of modify your dynamic criteria or to make a group that will overlap and intersect them together. Oof, a little embarrassing. I got that one wrong, but moving on. You can only select one group at a time. And third, select your email options. We have a send from drop-down here. And I have some options missing because I am in the demo database. But this is the point where you can create your sender profiles. So way earlier when I said we would have one account per company. And when you fill out your company's account information, it will ask you for your name and your address and your email. It's creating what's known as the sender profile. So when I said earlier that Act Emarketing is sending emails from their own server on your behalf and spoofing you, that is the information that they use in the sender profile. If you have multiple people, you might be sending your emails from different names and changing it up frequently. Maybe sometimes you want to send it from a news or info account. Other times you want to send it as salesperson A or B. Then I recommend you get the team version of Act Emarketing, because the team version will allow you to have multiple sender profiles with each one with their own from name and email address. You have to be able to verify this email address. You can't just send on behalf of President Trump or something like that. You have to be able to verify the email address before you can spoof it. But once you have your sender profile set up and you have specified who's allowed to send as this user, there's a permissions box down here to mind. Then later when you go to check out this select your email options, you'll have a drop down here that will show the different sender profiles so that it will be easy to change and switch up who you're sending as, regardless of what Act user is currently logged in. My Act is kind of timing out right now. It's mostly because this demo database isn't truly affiliated with my right account. I think it's kind of throwing Act off a bit. Here we go. I've got my different menu options. Yeah, Stephen, within one profile, different signatures can be picked. I don't want to use the word signature. Signature sometimes means like your signature within your email itself. That would all be controlled within the template editor. But this is just who your email appears to be coming from, and who the reply to is your sender profile. So if I wanted to send as Stephen, I certainly could. If I wanted to send as Jeff or Bob, then I could send this email out as them, so that your marketing person can still send on behalf of other salespeople. It's at this point when we're sending our template that you can give yourself a very catchy subject line, where all of your hours of hard work building a beautiful template and going back and forth with everyone in your team about if it's good content or not finally boils down to about a half-second of attention span if anyone's going to open your email or not. You can choose when to send. You can have your email send right now upon clicking the Send Campaign button, or you can choose a scheduled send if you want it to send on a different date and time. Maybe you want this email to go out next month at 6 a.m. You can certainly do that with the date and time. Then you have to read through their whole terms of service, or you just check the box and pretend you did and send out the email campaign. And it will ask you a confirmation if you want to send, and then there you go. It'll fire away. We got to wrap up in a couple minutes here, but I also want to mention about that deliverability that I said I would circle back to. Because Act is technically impersonating you and sending email on your behalf, that is not a secret or reserved technology. It's a method called spoofing, where basically anybody can impersonate anybody's email address, and it will often, if it's not validated or allowed, send your emails directly to spam. You don't want somebody in Costa Rica, for example, just sending emails on behalf of your company's email address. As an optional security measure, there is a technology framework in place called an SPF record, a Sender Policy Framework. If you Google Act Emarketing SPF record, then you will likely see this knowledge base article first as one of the top results, and it will explain more information about it. It is essentially a rule that you will put into your domain name's mail server settings. This is probably something to have your IT person or web person set up for you. It is a rule right here of this line, which actually has a set of IP address ranges for SwiftPage's e-marketing servers, that essentially says that any emails originating from this server are legitimate and valid, and it will improve your deliverability tremendously. Otherwise, if you do not do this SPF record, receiving email servers are going to see your email coming in. They're going to see that somebody else is impersonating your account, even though you wanted them to. It will still look that way without an SPF record, and they'll probably send it to spam. So do be sure to speak to me or do some research on the ACT Emarketing SPF record and get this uploaded to your website's domain. We've hit 10 o'clock, so I am going to wrap it up. Let's see. Paul Smith says, this email marketing looks different from what I've been using for years. It's actually very much the same, but you are completely right. It does look different. They keep changing the appearance of it, but it is still the same e-marketing account. If you are on version 16.3 or newer, then you are on this version of ACT Emarketing. I'm demoing out of an ACT V20 database right now. And in version 20, which is why they've kind of changed the layout of this, but you'll still see all of the same menu functions are still there. Your version, Paul, is the same. Will from KDEX, the call list is a wonderful feature. I want to address that in part 3 of my series about the reporting. It essentially allows you, the call list is a paid upgrade. It's an add-on. That does cost extra per month, or it's included in the team level of ACT Emarketing. The call list will show you who opened your email campaigns right within ACT. So you can view all of these results and reports for free within your web browser, or I can click on the email right here within ACT, my call list, and this is an email that I sent out today for my webinar, and I can see some people that have opened it, how many times they opened the email, how many links they clicked on within the email blast, and it kind of tells me who my hottest leads were based on their reporting. I will give you much more information on the call list in part 3. I do like it a lot. It's a great feature. Final note, if you do want to upgrade and buy a higher level of e-marketing send, you'll find some additional options up here in the e-marketing dropdown. There's an e-marketing and then an upgrade link. And if I click on that, it's going to open a web browser for me and take me to a pricing page where I can sign in and be able, with my e-marketing account, or create an account in order to check out and look at the pricing options. Thank you all for your time today. I hope to see you all next week. For those of you watching on YouTube, please follow the link in the description below to sign up and start attending these webinars live. I'd love to have you. Take care and enjoy your last days in January. Goodbye.